Greenwood Cemetery is the property of the Firemen's Charitable and Benevolent Association of New Orleans. This is one of the more famous monuments here at Greenwood Cemetery. This is to the Firemen's Charitable Association, in honor of all firefighters who served the city of New Orleans. It was dedicated in 1887. The artwork here is absolutely tremendous. As you can see, Greenwood Cemetery is a fine example of New Orleans' cities of the dead. Now here's something you don't see too often. A veteran of 3 wars, Henry Webb Thomas, a sergeant from the U.S. Air Force in World War I, World War II, and Korea. Born in April 1900, died in August 1965. We thank you for your service. Grave of another war veteran, this time from the Korean War, Gerald F. Schneider Sr., United States Navy. Born in June 1933, died in March 2009. Like with all the veterans buried here and across the country, we thank you for your service. Now this is the Rice family tomb, but what is interesting about this is this headstone. It's the grave of Ernest E. McSpadden, a native of Missouri. Died on February 23rd, 1942. Greenwood Cemetery has a special place for me. Many generations of my ancestors are buried here, and many generations of my wife's is too. But there's also Civil War generals, common soldiers who fought for the Confederacy during the Civil War, and there's even a Union general buried here. But I haven't been able to locate it just yet. A lot of research that I've checked out on the cemetery's website doesn't exactly give the exact location of the man's grave. But there are 2 Civil War generals that are here. Wooden crosses. This is incredible. Adrian Barrett and his, Hermine Barrett. Hermine Barrett was the wife of J.B. McConnell. She lived from 1881 to 1903. And as we move on, Henry Schmidt, born in Germany in 1823. And so was his wife Hermine Heim, born in 1844 in Hanover, Germany. Died in San Francisco in 1906. This is the memorial plot to the members of the New Orleans Lodge number 30. And you can see the most famous artwork of an elk. Unfortunately, this tomb is a bit rusted, as is this one. As you can see, some of these tombs are in serious need of repair. This is the grave of Confederate General Young Marshall Moody, a native of Alabama. After the war, in 1865, he became a businessman and died here in New Orleans in 1866 due to an illness. The last time I was here, this marble slab was not here. Somebody must have, wow, I'm impressed. I really am. Because this was the original marker. Right here. That's very nice. And here we have another Confederate general whose marker actually was not here the last time I was here. This is incredible. Brigadier General Thomas Moore Scott died in April of 1876. He served in the 12th Louisiana Infantry for the Confederacy. He was originally a native of Georgia and also lived in Tennessee, but moved to New Orleans and was found dead actually in a coffee house. Right next to the grave of General Scott are two World War II veterans. Adolph Emile Log of the U.S. Marine Corps, born in 1928, died in 2001. And Gerald Warren Becker, a Master Sergeant in the United States Army, born in July of 1916, died in May 1999. This is in memory of James Murphy, born in 1796, died in 1862. And also, down here below, Frank Hill of Louisiana, private, 26th Infantry, 1st Division, died on December 1st, 1936. It doesn't say what war he served in, but nonetheless, we thank him for his service. And two graves from Mr. Hills is the grave of Rosine C. Vermes. And it's written in German. Let's see if I can remember my German a little bit. Born in Hanover, Germany, 21st of November, 1836. Died in September of 1893. This is the grave of the Liuzza family. Now this is one of the families that I'm actually working on as a genealogist. It's my cousin's family. More so my great aunt, Anita Kinberger. She's the sister-in-law of my grandfather, Bill. Her family came from Contessa in Italy, and Anthony Liuzza came over in the 1890s and settled in New Orleans and brought his family. He was born in 1865 and died in December of 1942. Ever since the city's founding in 1718, New Orleans has been the home of many cultures: French, Spanish, African, German, Irish, Italian. New Orleans was really the melting pot of the South in the 1700s and 1800s. The vast history of this city is absolutely incredible, and you could see it here in these cemeteries. This is interesting. Steps that lead to a fence and a thicket. I wonder what was here originally before they had the interstate and this fence up. Let's take a walk up. No. Yep, right there, set of railroad tracks and Interstate 10. From here on out, a quiet place where people can finally sleep in peace. We have the gravestones of 3 war veterans. Charles Austin, the 1st Louisiana Infantry in the Spanish-American War, died in June 1940. John W. Behan served in Korea with the U.S. Air Force, died in November of 1990. And William H. Frazier, who was a sergeant with the medical department, died in June 1936. James Anthony Skynes, Private First Class, Company A, 8th Machine Gun Battalion, World War I. Died in August of 1957. Well, this is interesting. A tomb actually at the base? Interesting. It's Joseph Meyer, Private 141st Field Artillery, 39th Division, died in December of 1933. Incredible thing, when you walk in this cemetery, you couldn't spend an entire day here. You'd have to take several days to just soak all of this in. So much history. And these are all just regular, hardworking, decent people. And led interesting lives. They just weren't put in the history book. Well, these folks have the right idea. They have shade. Keep them cool at all times. This is fascinating. Now, I've seen trees take up graves, and you'll see that at Chelmet Cemetery. I've even seen it at the Confederate Cemetery in Biloxi, Mississippi. But this one doesn't seem to take over anything. It just seems to provide shade for the people that have laid to rest here. Now, this is the grave of William J. Kinberger. He was born in New York City in November of 1921. His parents were both natives of New Orleans. He has a special place for me. He is one of my heroes. And that is because he is my maternal grandfather. He served in World War II the entire duration. Rose up to the rank of corporal. He was a mechanic in the U.S. Army Air Corps, 9th Air Force. After that, he joined with the Port of Embarkation and rose up to be involved in management. And he retired there in 1986. Now, he's not a hero to me because he served in a war. He's a hero to me because he's the best grandfather a guy could ever have. When he was there for a lot of important moments in my life. First communion, first time I ever went to Disney World, my high school and college graduations, and even my wedding. He was a terrific guy. He played jokes on me and my brother when we were kids, took us to City Park to go ride the train when we were little, and even on the famous carousel out in City Park. He was a terrific man, and he was such an important factor in my life that even though my kids were born after he passed away, they know him. They really know him because of all the wonderful stories I have of this man. And that is the end of the tour of Greenwood Cemetery. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to check out Dom TV 2010. Like, share, and subscribe. Thanks again.